welcome everybody to another edition of Blacks in Motion right here at BVN at 8. And as always, it's your sports guy, Cliff, giving you the hottest news in sports out there right now. So let's go ahead and jump into this week's segment with my quick hits. Starting off with the Olympics, 2016 in Rio, kicking off August 5th through the 21st. Now, you may have heard a few things surrounding the Olympics: toxic water, the Zika virus, some of the Russian team being suspended. Either way, it should be some good summer sports. So be ready to stay tuned to the Olympics when they hit us in the beginning of August. Now, moving on to the next thing, the NBA, one of the good players, not great players, has called it quits, and that's Amar'e Stoudemire. Look, he went back to join the Knicks to retire in New York, and look, this guy burst onto the scene. He came straight out of high school, had a great McDonald's All-American game, went to the Phoenix Suns, and was really dominating, but you know, injuries kind of curtailed his career, and then he moved a couple of teams and never could quite get back right. But hey, Amar'e Stoudemire, one of the most athletic power forwards to come through in the common era. Farewell to you, Mr. Stoudemire. Now, speaking of retire, we're going to go over to the NFL with tackle Eugene Monroe. Now, what makes this case very strange is that he's retiring just after a few years in the league. You know, we're starting to see this as a trend. These young players are dealing with all these injuries and everything and saying, look, we want to keep our faculties later on in life. We want to live a prosperous life, a healthy life after football. And the only solution that seems to be happening right now are these guys calling it quits early. Now, one thing about Mr. Monroe is that he was a big advocate for medicinal marijuana. Now, that leads me on into my main topic for today, and that's marijuana and the NFL. Look, all of us have been on jobs before. What's one of the things you got to do before you're completely hired? You have to take a drug test. That's right. The NFL is just like most other employers in this nation. You cannot do drugs and work in the NFL. So why these guys can't get that? You know, first guy, Le'Veon Bell. He's pretty much established himself as the best running back in the league for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's already served a suspension for weed once, and now he stands to be suspended for another 4 games at the beginning of this season, all for a missed drug test. Well, did you know that you were going to fail it? Is that why you missed it? Either way, there's no excuse. I don't understand. You're costing your team possible wins for next season. Moving on to the next guy, Randy Gregory. He's only been in the league a couple years, barely played last year for the Cowboys. Now, yes, he was a top 5 talent coming out of college, and they knew it would be a risk for his off-the-field activities, but they had to take him. He fell in the second round. He was too good. And don't you know this individual was already suspended for 4 games this coming up season, and now he stands to be suspended as much as 10 games because he failed another test? And to make matters worse, he had a chaperone that was given to him by the Cowboys, and he still got hot. That's not smart. And moving from that on to probably the strangest case, and that's with defensive end and outside linebacker Aldon Smith. This guy has had a host of off-the-field problems, drug charges, gun charges. Anyway, he's been suspended for a whole year before from the NFL. He got a second chance after the 49ers with the Oakland Raiders. And just recently, he posted to his own Periscope of what it seems like him smoking a blunt and says, oh, I'm not going to get caught. It ain't like I'm got my face on here and I'm Aldon Smith. Well, yeah, bro, you said your name. Now, you can argue that it wasn't a blunt in your hand and it was just a fire-up session like you said, but that's not smart. Now, see, Cliff is baffled. I don't understand. When I was young, I dared to be different. I didn't do drugs. I still don't do drugs. I don't know what's so appealing about marijuana. Now, like I said with Eugene Monroe, it could be an issue there about it being medicinal because a lot of players don't like to take Vicodin and painkillers and morphine because it's so addictive. And I think that there is a discussion to be made about that. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of guys affect themselves and their teams and their futures just to get high. I don't understand it. I don't get it. So here's the question for the week. Should the NFL just stop testing for marijuana? Should they allow it, or should they continue to ban it from their players? I want to hear from you. Always hit me up, Cliff at blackvideonews.com. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you can always keep up with the hottest news in sports that I'm giving you. But in the meantime, always stay logged on and love us right here at Blacks in Motion.